Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of free VST plugins for music production you may like. And if you're coming across my channel for the very first time, you're welcome to CoinxDaProducer, your go-to place for discovering some of the best free VST plugins you may not know you needed. And today, I'm excited to show you something super unique. This one is called Topos and it is by Forever 89. And let me just say, this isn't your typical saturation plugin. It is a creative playground. Stick around because I'm going to walk you through how it works, show you how it sounds, and we will even run it on some loops together. So with that being said, let's get into it. Topos is described as an all-terrain tone explorer, and honestly, that name fits it perfectly. It is kind of like having a saturation plugin, an amp simulator, and a speaker designer all in one plugin. But don't let that intimidate you because it is laid out in sections and each one is super easy to use once you know what is going on. So let's break it down. Here is how the signal flows through Topos. First, you've got an input filter to shape the sound before any saturation hits. Then it goes into the saturating amp section. That's where all the character and heat comes in. After that, it passes through a speaker simulation section, which adds a ton of vibe and realism. And finally, there is a mix section for global settings like dynamics, wet-dry blend, and some movements. And the beautiful thing about it is that you can turn each section on or off, and that makes it super flexible for users. Now let's talk about the input filter. We need to have the foundation right, okay? This section is simple but powerful. You can roll off highs and lows and even access a filter designer that lets you tweak the shape more precisely. There is even this cool thing called residue mix. It lets you blend back in the frequencies you filtered out after processing, and this is great for keeping the natural feel of your mix intact. So this plugin can be used to clean up your signal before hitting saturation. It really helps to avoid mudding your mix or overly brightening your sound. So let's have a quick demo for the input filter section of this plugin. Alright, I believe you had it. Let's have a closer look at the saturating amp, which is this section right here. And that is where the magic happens. It is actually where things get fun. You've got a drive knob to crank up the saturation and a really smart auto gain that balances your output so your levels don't jump around. If you want more control, open up the amp designer to get access to things like hard clipping, bias, rectify, all that great stuff. This feature is perfect for dialing in warmth edge or even full-on distortion. So let's have a quick listen. Right, that takes us to the speaker simulation section, which is your secret sauce for this plugin. Now, this is one of the coolest parts of Topos. The speaker sim section gives your sound real-world character. You can mess with things like the size, the fidelity, and presence, as you can see, and it is super useful for giving your mix depth. And a speaker designer, if you want to go full nerd mode and control deflections, damping, even the speaker potting style. Crazy stuff, but in a good way, you know. So let's have a quick demo for that. Alright, cool. That brings us to the mix section, which is the last stop in the chain where we can fine-tune the final touches for our production. Here you've got flogs, which adds some subtle modulation to make the sound feel alive. Next, the dynamics, which helps reintroduce punch that may get lost in saturation. And finally, your wet mix for blending the effect with your dry signal. See it as the icing on the cake, you know. Makes this plugin usable on pretty much anything you want. Now, if you're thinking, okay, this sounds dope, but is it really free? The full version has all the crazy customization, but there is a version called Topos Play, which is completely free, which is the one I am using for this demonstration. But this version, which is the Topos Play, will still give you a taste of what the beast can do. So if you just want to drop it on a track and vibe, Topos Play is worth checking out. So, to wrap it up, Topos is a super creative sound shaping plugin that goes way beyond just saturation. It is intuitive, it is powerful, and the fact that there is a free version, that's just a bonus. So, give it a try, throw it on drums, vocals, synths, whatever, and let me know in the comments what you think about this plugin. Alright guys, if you are digging this series, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the next awesome free plugins I'm going to cover. Trust me, more amazing plugins are coming soon. So catch you in the next one. Stay creative, stay focused, and bye for now.